Carlos Baleba, as that transfer could be on for Manchester United. All roads lead to Baleba. I can already feel you guys in the live chat letting me know that Baleba could be a very likely option, but we do have updates on Baleba coming in. Manchester United really liking the player, and potentially the only thing holding the deal back is the fee. What if Brighton budge on that fee? Is he the player that United could go for at the last minute in this transfer window? We will discuss it. Also, a little bit of a boost in the race for Alex Scott. That's if United are still in it. We spoke a little bit this morning about 64 million being rejected. Does that price United out? But it looks like Chelsea could be walking away. Arsenal could be going for Bruno Guimaraes. Does that put United in a position? And is there a reason why Alex Scott is refusing to sign that deal? Is there something else there with another club? Could that be Manchester United, or could it be someone else? We'll bring that into the show as well. Also, Somerville has not confirmed that he is going to move to Saudi. We were talking yesterday about Manchester United's top left wing target, Crescencio Somerville, going over to the Saudi Pro League and completing that deal. Everybody's still waiting on him. He's not confirmed the decision that he's okay with moving to the Saudi Pro League. So could that be a little bit of a boost for Manchester United to still have that deal on the table? Get your comments in. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you're feeling. And we're not going to hold back either, because I've seen a lot of people in the live chat. I mean, people message me on the regular. Man United's transfer window. I mean, I don't want to get too carried away, but time is ticking. There's a month until the Premier League season. And if you showed someone who had no idea this was Manchester United's transfer window, if you showed someone that transfer window, I wouldn't be surprised if they said, you know, it was the transfer window of Everton, someone like that. Like, don't get me wrong, Youri Tillman's a good signing, Andre Santos is a good signing. But come on now, we're a Big Six club, we finished third, and we want to be pushing on. We want to strive to compete in the Champions League, compete in the Premier League. And so far, we have not spent enough money, we have not got enough players in, and Carrick's squad is thin going into multiple competitions next season. We'll talk about it. Starting off with Baleba, we have a poll running, so please get your votes in. Very intrigued to see how things stand, because I know, look, with Baleba, last summer, really wanted him. He had a really poor season, then he wasn't on my list of players that I think Manchester United should get. However, like I said, at the start of the window, you have all these hopes and dreams, and you have the ambitions, you have the Elliot Andersons, you have the Mateus Fernandezes, you have the Chouamenes, you have the top players that you want to bring into the football club. And then as time ticks on, as other clubs sign good players, and as you see the Premier League start date looming, you think, do you know what? I take him, I take him, I take that player. You do start to get a little bit more desperate. And part of me now is like, if it was Baleba, I would take it over the current situation of only two midfielders. So with Baleba, there's so many different angles you can come at it with in terms of the stats, the data, last season's performance. But I wanted to get a gauge on how you guys are feeling about the Baleba situation. Has your stance changed? Would you sign him? Would you not sign him? I know there's a lot of people in this live chat who really want to sign Baleba. They really, really like the player. And I know there's a lot of people who are on Goldbridge's side who just would not want to sign Baleba whatsoever. I'm sort of in the middle of this, and I'll explain why in a second. So, it's coming out from TalkSport. Alex Crook said this: I'd still keep an eye on Carlos Baleba. I think he's probably an all-round midfielder they need now to supplement what they've already got, especially with Tielemans and Andre Santos coming in as well. He continued to mention Carlos Baleba when he spoke about an update on Alex Scott. He said, Bournemouth have put £80 million on Alex Scott. I think it's probably going to be higher than that, to be honest. I mean, that is crazy, and United shouldn't pay that. I mean, the messaging I'm getting out of the South Coast is pretty firm. He's not for sale. Obviously, he's not signed a contract. And it was reported yesterday that Chelsea had a £64 million offer rejected. That's far too low. They look at what Elliot Anderson has gone for. They look at what Sandro Tonali has gone for. And I think they see that as a sort of parameter of how much Alex Scott should be worth. But they are determined to keep him. I still think if Manchester United, if they're going to spend that type of money on a midfielder, I would keep an eye on Carlos Baleba. I think he's probably the all-round midfielder that they need now to supplement what they've got with Tielemans and Andre Santos as well. So look, it's not coming out from Fabrizio Romano or David Ornstein, but Carlos Baleba is there for Manchester United as someone who they really like. And I also saw another update as well. Again, it's not Ornstein or Romano levels, But this was said on Carlos Baleba. They're desperate for defensive reinforcements, Manchester United. In an ideal world, they go straight for Baleba. They absolutely love his game. Even after a below-par season, United still see him as an outstanding fit. But Brighton's sky-high valuation has basically killed any realistic chance of the deal, and that's come from Graham Bailey. So there's a lot of likeness for Carlos Baleba within the Manchester United hierarchy. Whether Carrick wants him is a different story. We know we need a defensive profile. We know we need a ball winner. We know we need someone who can cover a lot of ground. We know we need someone with physicality and athleticism. Carlos Baleba's ticking all them boxes. He's also young. He'll hold value, depending if he plays at the level he did the season before last. If he plays like he did last season, he won't hold value. But he's young, he's got levels to go up, and he's got that Premier League experience. And there's no competition for him, so it's a straight shootout for Manchester United. So he ticks a lot of boxes for them. Like I said, when they tried to go for him last season, he came out, when they put him through the data, as the best possible partner for Kobbie Mainoo. They like the player a lot. However, does Carrick like the player? Because what is coming out from multiple different journalists is that Carrick is prioritising players who are good on the ball. And the season before last, Carlos Baleba, on the eye, on the ball, he looked really good. Last season when I watched him, he was slow on the ball, gave the ball away way too much, got caught in possession way too many times. That's not the type of player that Michael Carrick will want. He wants players that are good on the ball in his team and in that midfield. And it'd be a massive risk. So the pros to Baleba, United love him, they love the numbers, they feel like if they can get him playing at the level that he was at before last season and the potential he's got, he could be a brilliant signing. I mean, there's people inside Brighton who have said that they think he can be better than Caicedo. If you watched him last season, you wouldn't think that at all. He was really, really poor. Last season he was being benched by Milner, he was, getting hooked, he wasn't starting games. He just wasn't the Carlos Baleba of the season before, where he was absolutely balling out and impressing everyone. So it's a big risk for United on what Baleba they're going to get and if he's going to be able to be successful. In terms of the Alex Scott update on the price, so this has come out from Ben Jacobs. Chelsea are exploring the midfield market after seeing a 64 million bid for Alex Scott rejected, as exclusively revealed. Another midfielder is not a guarantee that Enzo Fernandez will be sold. Chelsea remain open to Enzo Fernandez signing a new contract, but if the club's 120 million valuation met, an exit is possible this summer. So what I've taken out of that a little bit, and here in the news as well, Chelsea are now exploring the midfield market after having that bid rejected. Essentially, are they really going to want to go much higher? I don't think so. I mean, there's reports out there that Bournemouth are going to try and get over 80 million for Scott. I think that's a big, big ask. With 1 year left on his deal, come on. I think that's a big, big ask. So let me just double check that with his deal, actually. Alex Scott contract expiry. Summer 2028. So, 2 years left on his deal. But now is the point to get the price for him. Next summer, with 1 year left on his deal, it gets super interesting, to say the least. So, Chelsea might be walking away from that. Arsenal look like they're throwing everything at going getting Bruno Guimaraes. So, Arsenal and Chelsea, the two big clubs that are in for Alex Scott, as well as United and City. Okay? So, Chelsea exploring the midfield market after seeing that bid rejected, 64 million. Arsenal going all in on Bruno Guimaraes. I don't think they'll sign Alex Scott as well. And I don't see Alex Scott really wanting to push for that move, because where's your game time going to come when you've got Bruno Guimaraes and Declan Rice and Zubimendi? I mean, it's going to be more difficult. If he backs himself, then fair enough. But I just don't see Arsenal doing too big midfield signings with the price that Bournemouth's put on his head as well. Man City are looking at Buwadi, and there's not really been any extra news on Alex Scott. They can come out of nowhere, but they are looking at Buwadi. And Man United like him, but there's been no movement whatsoever. And there keeps being reports basically playing down the finances that Manchester United have to play with, and basically saying that Manchester United can't afford to go and get Alex Scott. So United sort of seem out of it as well. I was speaking to someone earlier that said they won't be surprised, after Liverpool hasn't really spent much money this summer, they won't be surprised if Liverpool come out of nowhere and go for Alex Scott. Adoni Areola knows the player, likes the player, has worked with the player. They've got Champions League football. They've got that new project now at Liverpool. They need a midfielder. I actually think they need a midfielder of Scott's profile. And I do think to myself, Liverpool move so quick and sneakily in the market. Like, do you remember that Gakpo just came out of nowhere, swooped from under our feet? You know, whenever they sign a player, it's just like instant. Liverpool are signing a player. So could Liverpool have kept this all under wraps? Then out of nowhere, they're signing Alex Scott. Because I do think there's a reason he's rejected that second proposal from Bournemouth. If he didn't have a club saying we're willing to come and get you this summer, would he not have just signed a much more highly compensated deal with a release clause in it? So he knows he can pick his club next summer and move next summer. If he didn't have a club now saying we want to come and get you. Chelsea, 64 million and they're looking at the midfield market. Arsenal like him, but they're more going towards Bruno Guimaraes. United apparently haven't got the money. Let's see. That could be a play. Let's see. I doubt it. I don't think we'll pay anywhere near close to 80 million for Alex Scott. If we weren't willing to do it for previous targets, I doubt we'll be willing to do it again. Could Liverpool be working their magic behind the scenes? Could Iraola be talking to the player? I would keep an eye on Liverpool and Alex Scott. Maybe they can come out of the woodwork and get that deal done. But when it comes to Manchester United, I don't see him going paying the money for Alex Scott, if I'm completely honest with you. A lot of people saying they don't think Liverpool's going to do it because of the price, and they spent a lot last summer. Let's see what happens. They usually can move pretty sneakily. We have Carl B saying United are rubbish before they start buying players. They need to fix their stadium. I mean, a lot needs to be done. A lot needs to be done, but we're currently... I mean, there's a lot going on with the stadium. Absolutely. Right now, the transfer window's happening, and I do feel like it's passing us by a little bit. Emily Derry says, don't ask Brighton what they think of Baleba. They have vested interest in keeping his value high, and talent means nothing if their head isn't there. Good point, Emily. They're not exactly going to say a big asset they have isn't what they expected him to be, are they? You know, a PR goes into these deals a lot as well. Thank you, everyone, for getting your comments in, your super chats in as well. We also have... Okay, the Baleba poll is a bit of a landslide. So 64% of you say don't sign Baleba, and 36% of you say do sign Baleba. So, you know, 36% of you in there are willing to go and do the deal, but the majority, 64%, would rather go for somebody else. And it just depends who's going to be available. Right now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to be completely honest. I am a little bit worried. Like, I genuinely don't know where United are going to go from here. I keep holding on to the fact that Santos came out of nowhere. Tielemans literally came out of nothing. Both of them are pretty good signings. So I hold on to that. Like, we could be linked to a player in the next hour and have signed them by tomorrow, like, based off what we've done so far. So that's what I'm sort of holding on to. But there does seem to be a lack of options for United and a lack of anything concrete coming out. Like, I think we're priced out of Alex Scott. We could have moved for Manu Kone. We've not done it. And there's briefs coming out that we can't stretch to financially to get Manu Kone in, even though it's been valued at 50 million. I mean, Baleba, I do think we could do that deal, but I don't think Brighton will budge on his price. I think they'll hold firm on that and hope he has a good season next season. They're not in desperate need of selling it a cut price deal. I just don't see where United go with it. And then, don't even get me started on the fullback situation. The literal only two fullbacks we've been linked to with any substance are Lewis Hall and Anthony Robinson. I don't know if United would want to go for the Anthony Robinson profile. If they could get him cheap, potentially, but he doesn't really get me off my seat, to be honest with you guys. And then Lewis Hall, I just see that deal being very financially difficult for Manchester United. And then centre-back, been linked to no one, basically barely anyone of any significance. And with the striker, we've literally not had one name come out yet. So United just might be keeping everything hush-hush and things might come out of nowhere. But I am a little bit worried as to where we're going, because there is options out there to go and get, but it just doesn't feel like Manchester United are willing to push themselves financially to go out and give Carrick the backing that he absolutely deserves. I mean, in terms of the left winger, a bit of an update on Somerville. Okay, so this has happened within the last few hours, that Crescencio Somerville faces a dilemma. Crescencio Somerville faces a dilemma. He would prefer to remain in Europe, but no clubs have offered the same amount of money that Al Hilal has submitted. He will have to decide whether to go to Saudi or turn it down. West Ham may have the dilemma of accepting less. Then it comes in from Fabrizio Romano. On the Somerville deal, Al Hilal have agreed a fee with West Ham, but are still waiting on the player's green light. AS Roma are not giving up with new talks on the player side. Gasparini spoke to Somerville tonight, all parties waiting for Crescensio's decision. If United would have moved on Rashford, we would have got this deal wrapped up. We would have had Crescencio Somerville because we would have been able to offer him the wages that he would have won. We would have been able to offer him staying in the Premier League and European football and Champions League football, and we would have been able to pay the fee to West Ham. So if you're in Team Somerville and you would have preferred to go for that 24-year-old winger who's got a bit of Premier League experience, who's willing to take the next step up over keeping Rashford, who is very experienced but has had chances at the club before, could either be a massive hit next season or a real problem, who's on 325 grand a week, then unfortunately, United could have done that Somerville deal, but because we didn't resolve the Rashford deal before he went to the World Cup, we're in a situation now where we can't move for him. So, look, I don't think it's massive, really, from a United standpoint, because I think if he decides he doesn't want to go to Al Hilal, which, again, no disrespect to the Saudi Pro League, I think their ambition that they're showing is fantastic, but I think at 24 years of age, you should really try and make it in the top leagues in Europe. Like, that is where the highest level of football is being played. If he decides he doesn't want to go to Saudi, I do think Roma will end up getting him. But I'll be interested to see what price Roma pay for him to West Ham, and if it would have been in the realm that I would have accepted United paying for Somerville. It all really depends on whether Man United have absolutely messed up this deal. Is seeing where Somerville goes next, seeing how successful he is, but also seeing what Marcus Rashford can provide for Manchester United next season.